Hey guys, Lakeisha McKinnon here with our Love During Lockup recap. So last week, Melissa's friends think that she should just get over Louis. I mean, he ignored her all through high school. And we have Heidi and Ty. Ty's been ignoring Heidi, ignoring his phone calls, ignoring his letters. And his cousin comes over with the ring and she thinks she's won. So she's like, Boston, I got the ring. She doesn't know Boston has a ring too. So Chelsea's in love with a prisoner that she's never met, but she's been teaching him sign language and he has his reservations about her as well. So Mike and Justine are planning their jailhouse wedding to his family's surprise. They think they're just going for a visit. They don't know about the wedding. Now remember, Mike has 4 kids, she has 3, and her mother does not approve. So we will start off with Justine and Michael. So Justine, her mom, and her children are in her vehicle going to meet Mike's family for dinner and drop the bomb about the wedding. Her mom is asking, how are you going to bring this up? And she has no idea. So Justine's son says, just don't even talk about it. So Justine says, just continue to lie. So they're hoping that this is going to go well. Now remember, Mike was arrested for heroin and fentanyl, and she says he's been in prison for 6 years. And in the last video, I actually read some of the charges from the newspaper article. So they get to the they get to the restaurant. Mike's family is already there, and they actually have a picture of him. And they're deciding who's going to sit beside this picture. So Justine is nervous, and Mike calls, and he tells them the real reason that they're going to go to the jail tomorrow. So basically, Mike is like, hey guys, I know that you think that you're coming for a visit, but we're going to get married. Justine is relieved because she doesn't have to get the news. And his mom says she didn't know, and she actually has to excuse herself. Now, she actually introduced them. Justine is just like, she really doesn't know, what to do at this point, but she does look like she could be related to Tia and Tamara. And Annie, which is Michael's sister, she's asking why he didn't tell them. And he says he wanted it to be a surprise. And Annie says she is hurt, and she starts crying. And then his mom says, why didn't you tell me? And then she had to, take another break. And then they passed the phone down for his daughter, his oldest daughter, to speak with him, or his children, but the call ends. And Mom said Michael always talks to her. His sister says, she asked Justine, do you think it was fair that your family knew and ours didn't? She says it's so important to build trust in a relationship. And she said that she thought that they were close, Justine and them. And then Justine's mom really wants them to wait, since they haven't even seen each other outside of prison. And Annie is saying that, this could have saved the family a lot of tears if it was known beforehand. But yeah, everyone is crying. Justine is crying. She just wants to be happy, I guess, in her Mary J. Blige voice. So yeah, I don't think that the night ended as well as she thought it was going to. Then we have Ty and Heidi. So many rabbit holes here. And the scene starts off with Ty saying she's excited about planning her wedding. She has envisioned it in her head several times. And I'm like, was it to a prisoner? She states she can admit she is still talking to other inmates. Shaking my head. But since she and Heidi have gotten engaged, she hasn't added any new men to her roster. So that's being faithful. That's Ty's explanation. I'm like, oh my goodness. So she goes to a wedding dress shop to meet her friend Brittany. And she shows her the ring. And Brittany is like, who is that from? So Ty is Brittany's asking, who's that from, excuse me? And she knows she's talking to several inmates. And Ty says, you know who it's from. Hottie. I meant Naughty. So Ty says she and Brittany spend a lot of time together. They're super close. But she says that Brittany is a Debbie Downer. And I'm asking her why, Ty. Is that because she's telling you the truth, like a true friend should? Dr. Phil. Because she is telling you she wants you to be with someone in the free world, like everyone else does. And I'm just saying, Ty, who is really going to be happy that someone is dating prisoners and you have the intention on making this person a life partner and a soulmate, a future spouse, prisoners? So I don't know. But anyway, she's a Debbie Downer because she's telling you the truth, which you don't want to hear. And you know in your heart of hearts she's telling you the truth. So the dresses at the shop are beautiful. Ty says she wants an all-white nice dress with some rhinestones and long sleeves. But she says she's never been married, but her dream wedding she has wanted her whole life would be at a mansion, candlelit. And I'm like, it's going to be in a prison. Wow, that sounds like a nightmare. She says Hottie has another 5 years in prison. And I'm thinking it's to take advantage and play her. Girl, please. So the wedding is going to be in a cafeteria. So you go from your dream wedding in a mansion to a cafeteria. Wow. Talk about settling. Her friend suggests a black dress. And then Ty says, I am a mortician, so I actually do like the idea of a black dress. Her friend Brittany says, I wasn't serious. She does try on the black dress though, and it is beautiful, and not just for Morticia Adams. It's actually a beautiful dress. But Ty says that she doesn't really like the way that her arms in the dress, but the dress is beautiful and she's crying. And I'm just like, who's crying? So her friend is asking her, why are you crying if you're happy? And why are you getting married so quick? But she says they've been approved to be married and she feels like it's going to be within the next 30 days. So she says she wants to be a princess for her prisoner. Brittany says, do you feel like buying the dress is going to make it more real? And is that why you're rushing? 30 days? Ty says she doesn't need 30 days. She doesn't need to ponder. This is her man and she is sure. And I said, is that why you have other inmates on deck? She's flashing the ring saying, this is my man and Boston's too. He's Boston's man too if he's giving her a ring. She says she loves Hottie for making the decision because he makes her happy. He makes her feel secure. I have no words for how a prisoner can make you happy and feel secure. So the phone starts ringing. And Brittany's like, go ahead and answer the phone because it might make you feel better. But it's BB calling. And he's calling. And he's saying, what's up with you? You said you was going to put some bread on my books. What's up with that? And really, you're putting bread on his books? She says, I'm going to do it today. He says, what's up with you though? And I'm like, you even care? You just called about your books. And she goes ahead and gets him off the phone. And Brittany's looking like, what? And she's like, oh, that's just my friend. That's just my friend. Yeah, okay. So Brittany asks if she's crying because she's having second thoughts, which clearly she is. And she says, no, she's crying because of how she looks. Ty is beautiful. The only thing wrong with her is the people that she's giving her love to. That's it. She probably needs some counseling. So Brittany says she has never seen Ty cry before. And Ty went to go change into another dress. And she said those aren't happy tears. Those are regret tears. So Ty tries on the beautiful white dress and she's still crying. And Brittany is like, what's up? You don't have to do this. And Ty's like, how much time do we get to spend together? You know, we're going to get to spend some time together as husband and wife. But Brittany says, Ty, I'm just like, what is really going on? Because she's just boo-hooing here. And she's like, Ty says, yes, we do, Brittany. Don't water us down. Huh? I'm happy. We're happy. Crickets. Now, I'm like, is that why you can't stop crying and talking to other people? Because you're happy. He's happy. He might be happy, but I don't think you are happy. Except for strangers. So, these new guys, she said she's not going to talk to, but she's still talking to the other one she had on deck. She says, you know, it's heartbreaking that her friends don't understand her relationship, and neither do I. But she says this is her decision. Okay. She says this is what makes her happy. Ty tells the camera, this is her person. Just support me. She tells Brittany, this has to happen now. I've waited long enough. Just support me. Nah, this does not have to happen now. This is not your person. No, he is not your person, and you are not his. Because if he was, you wouldn't have other people, and he wouldn't either. So now we go to Ty meeting with her dad, Lucius. The only person that I ever knew named Lucius was from, I'm trying to think of the name of the show. I'm going to have to put it in the comments. I cannot believe that. I can't even remember right now. But Empire. And her dad, Lucius, is saying, Ty, this is ridiculous. Because they're in her house and she has like mugshots of prisoners everywhere. She is saying, what do you mean? He's like, you need to join the FBI. And she said, do you think they would hire me? He says they probably would. So she says, I think I would be a good FBI agent. One problem, you can't talk to the prisoners. So no. He says, if this is the guy you love and you want to spend the rest of your life with, why is all this necessary? He says, you telling me you don't really feel the way that you say you feel. And she says, it's frustrating. She's telling the camera, it's frustrating that no one is there to be happy for her. But at the end of the day, she says, I'm a very grown woman, and it doesn't matter whose opinion isn't in agreement with hers. There's going to be a wedding. And I'm thinking, you better talk to Boston about that. She asks her dad if he likes her ring, and he says, yeah, $12 gets you a lot. So we go back to Ty, and she gets a phone call from her cousin Michelle, who asked her to stop by because there's something that she needs to talk to Ty about. Now, she has 3 dogs on her bed, and she's kissing each one of them. Bye, Heidi. Bye, BB. Bye, Dante. So when she gets to the studio, her cousin says, what is up with you? And Ty shows her the engagement ring. And Michelle says, Heidi gave you that ring? And Ty says, yep. Michelle says, I have to tell you something. She says she talked to Heidi last week because they were chopping it up about music and everything. And he told her that he was engaged to Boston. And I'm thinking to myself, Heidi, don't you know this is Ty's cousin? Is this for TV? So what's really going on here? But Ty says he's engaged to me. I just went dress shopping yesterday. Ma'am, I don't care what you did yesterday. He's engaged to Boston too. So I'm like, can you understand the words that are coming out of Michelle's mouth? Because you're acting really crazy right now. So Michelle said he got both y'all doing the same thing. And Ty tells the camera she's shocked. But I'm like, why? She says she just thought that he could be, the thought that he could be two-timing her is messed up. And I'm like, how? Because you doing the same thing to him. She says that Heidi didn't know Michelle was her cousin, which is why he confessed to her. And she says that the running mouth has played himself. She asks, why did he give her a ring? I mean, was your intentions to marry both of us? And I said, I agree. I mean, what are you, a polygamist? Just like she said. So her cousin is just like, you better learn today. I mean, he's not going to change. So she says that she had to speak to his cousin that bought her the ring because now she has to investigate. So Michelle feels like Hottie is a doggy dog, like Snoop doggy dog. And he's in it for what he can get out of it. Whoever's going to put money on his books, whoever's going to take care of his family, hey, that's what it is. And she said Ty can be crazy, and we have all seen this, and it's not going to end well. Well, Ty can be crazy. Ty's been crazy, and Ty's being crazy, because if you think a leopard will change his, I guess it's a tiger, will change his stripes, or a leopard will change his spots, then you're wrong. If you think Hottie is going to be faithful to you when you're not even being faithful to him, come on now, Ty, you smarter than that. So now we have Jessica and Dustin. Now Jessica is the one that I just want to just shake some sense into her. And I know we're keeping it positive, and you know, I don't get it. So Jessica is at the beach with her coworker, Kat. She tells the cameras that she is the life of the party. She is the fun factor, the person that everyone wants to have around. She basically says, you tell her not to do it, she's going to do it. She's kind of like a frat boy with breasts. Oh my gosh. At 44. Yikes. She has worked in corrections as a nurse for 13 years in prisons and in jails. And all I can say about that is you better look at the season with Courtney and Josh. That didn't end well for Courtney because she was actually put on probation. But anyway, Jessica does body piercings on the weekends, and she's talking to Kat, and they're sharing stories about the prison, which leads to Kat saying, have you worked in the jail? You have seen, or basically she says, you worked in the jail. You've seen many people, you know, go out and come back in. They're repeat offenders. Are you sure about this? So Jessica says yes. Kat says, let's be honest. Your love life hasn't been the greatest. And then Jessica says she was married for 15 years to her first husband, and the second one lasted 9 months and ended with him sleeping with a mutual friend. She says it probably never should have happened, but at least he wasn't an inmate. And she said she never thought she'd be attracted to an inmate. She was on a med pass. He was playing cards. He turned around and looked at her, and that was it. She was gone. And Dustin says the first time he saw Jessica, he had a loss for words. He was like, yes, that's my meal ticket right there. Because let's not forget, Jessica is 44 and Dustin is 27. I mean, I have a son that's that age, and I'm probably about 3 years older than Jessica. So he can be her son. That's insane to me. That's the female version of R. Kelly to me. So he's thinking how he's going to get money on his books. I know he was thinking that's his meal ticket. Now they're talking, and apparently he's locked down for 23 hours a day. And then Jessica is talking about how you can get in trouble for having an affair with an inmate. And I'm pretty sure that was explained to you when you took the job. She says she didn't know he liked her, but she resigned. So you're going to just give up your job. Not sure where this thing is going to go, but you're going to give up your job. She resigned to pursue a relationship with him. This is already starting off one-sided. Anyway, she says they've been together for five months. 5 months. My grandchild is older than 5 months. Anyway, Jessica, Lord, okay. He says he can't wait to see his girl. And I'm like, boy, she can be your mama. Dustin says he can't wait to spend the rest of his life with her. She is everything to him. Dustin, your life is just beginning. Jessica says when she applied to another nursing job, she applied for a visit, and DOC hates her because she worked for the prison, and she thinks they're purposely not approving her. Jessica said before he was put in the box, he called and said they're getting married. He's going to change her last name. Again? Okay, third time. Kat says, y'all don't even know each other. Y'all haven't even had a relationship outside of the prison. Y'all haven't even been intimate. What if he wants to wild out when he gets home? You're going to get tired of that. I mean, this dude is 27 years old. And basically, I heard from a previous inmate on a reality TV show that I do not want to give any glory to, but just want to use his story, that he was locked up for 10 years, and when he got out, he thought he wanted to get married. But behind the scenes, he was living foul. He was out doing everything. So I'm just like finding out that Jessica has a daughter, Bailey, 17. I'm like, what? Stop. And she's concerned, what if something happens and goes bad? And that's really hard on kids. She says she's told her daughter she was dating someone in prison. Then she told her she's changing jobs because she fell in love with the prisoner. And I'm like, wait, what? What kind of example is that? And now, Bailey is a nice looking young lady. She's 17 years old. And what if this joker gets home and starts looking at the 2022 model of you? She says that Bailey is in shock, but Dustin makes her happy. Kat says you have a house, you got bills, you have responsibilities. You need to be looking out for the warning signs that he's having difficulty adjusting to real life. And Kat tells the cameras that she may think she can trust him, but there are no guarantees. He's in prison, and that's too late. So then we go to the scene where Jessica and her daughter, and this part really kind of got to me. They were at the oyster bar, and her daughter doesn't like oysters, so why would you go to the oyster bar? But I guess because they're in Florida, they have other seafood. I mean, I love oysters. The oyster bar, yes. Dirty Don's Oyster Bar in Myrtle Beach, the bomb. The daughter says she's looking at entries, and Jessica is laughing, and she's saying, say what? What did you call it? And then Bailey covers her face and says, what? You know, she realizes the mistake, and Jessica says, I'm sorry, you're homeschooled. But Bailey and Jessica are super close. Bailey asks about Dustin, but Jessica says he's been in the box and he can't talk, and he's been sending letters. And Bailey is curious, what's going to happen when he gets out? Will he be on parole? I mean, will he go to a halfway house? And Jessica says when he's out, and he's going to come home. And then Bailey asks, well, what happens if he goes back? Which is a great question. Jessica says, why would he screw all this up? Maybe because he's 27, and if it was not possible, you wouldn't have something called repeat offenders. So Jessica says she doesn't think that he would screw this up. They have a future plans. And I'm like, Jessica, this boy could be your son. You don't know what he might do. There's a huge generational gap here. And Bailey says, wait, what? You said when he gets out, he's going to have a home? Where's that going to be? And Jessica says it will be in Tennessee. Now, mind you, they live in Florida. And I'm just like, wait, you're going to relocate for this dude. You gave up your job. You're giving up everything. And you haven't even talked to your daughter. So we understand that, you know, she's homeschooled, but you have to think about her future. And I'm just like shaking my head. And Bailey says, did you ask Dustin about moving here? And again, somebody you've been dating for 5 months. Girl, bye. And Jessica says she is the one who told him, let's think about your future. Let's think about your best interest. Let's think about you, the one who messed up. But let's think about you. Let's put you ahead of everybody, because I want to make sure that you have some support. You need support. Forget about my daughter. It's all about you. So and then she says, he and his mom are very close, and I want to make sure that they're going to be close. But you said that y'all are getting married, and I know the Bible says that a man leaves his mother and father and cleaves to his wife, but I'm just going to leave that alone because this is crazy. And Bailey, sometimes these kids have more sense than their parents. Bailey says, you're saying his support group, but I feel like most of our support group is here. And Jessica says, what is my support group? And Jessica says, I don't talk to my sister and my mom. Wait, what? Again, the kids have more sense than the parents. Bailey says, have you thought about fixing any of that? And you can see how important his family is, but you can't see how important yours is. She says, no. She used to be close to her sister and her mom. They live right across the street from each other. She would go there almost every day. But her sister had an issue with Dustin. She says her sister was bringing up everything about his past, present, future, whatever. He's around her niece. She has a right to. So she basically chose him, somebody you knew for 5 months, that's in jail. You gave up a job you're going to relocate for. You gave up your sister and your mom. Girl, bye. So Bailey is upset, but she's got her poker face on, and she's just like, okay. She's upset that they're going to move with his family, but she says she'll adjust. But she's waiting to meet Justine. She wants to make sure he's legit, and she feels her mom is moving too fast. 5 months, pump the brakes. And Bailey is watching Justine, and she said she will bring it if she has to. So he's not about to play around with her mom. I wish her mom had as much sense as she has. I just don't understand. I really don't. And unforgiveness, that you hold on to unforgiveness because your sister has your best interest at heart, girl, bye. You better let that thing go. That's gonna rob you, not her. So anyway, so then we go to Chelsea and Mikey. Now Chelsea is late for work. She's upset. She gets to her job, and apparently she can go in regular dress clothes or regular casual clothes because her coworker is in uniform, and she's pretty PO'd because she started working. And she's like, hey, why are you so late? And then Chelsea's like, I got a text from Mike's sister, Courtney, saying that Mikey may have had a mini stroke. And Sarah's like, can I see him? And this is the part I didn't understand, because Chelsea said, yes, you can see him. But then she proceeds to read them in sign language to Sarah. So apparently both of them, are deaf. But you said you were going to let her see it. Then you read it. I just didn't get that part. So anyway, she says, Mikey, this is the message from his sister, Courtney. Mikey may have had a mini stroke, so they took him to the hospital. So it may be a little longer before I can hear from him. And then she says again, so they took him to the hospital, and Chelsea asks, wait, what, when, where? She says they don't have good phone service or hotspots or whatever. So Sarah says, how is it possible to have had a stroke just like out of the clear blue? Chelsea doesn't know. And Sarah's like, that sounds weird. And she signs to the camera, how is it possible to have a stroke out of the clear blue? And she said, I'm sure the text is bull. And Chelsea tells Sarah, when she asks Courtney, she says, he doesn't have good service. I mean, what? Sarah tells Chelsea, you might want to find somebody else. And I agree. But Chelsea gets offended, and that's what they do. When you try to tell them the truth, they get offended. She got offended and said, what do you mean by that? Red flags. So I can't understand why these people get mad at other people for telling them the truth. And she already knows it deep down inside. But Chelsea knows that it doesn't seem right, just like Ty. But because of the abuse she's endured in the past, she's willing to put up with it. Shaking my head. She tells Sarah, I love Mikey. And Sarah says, you don't know what's going on with him in prison. And Chelsea says, Sarah knows that she's never met Mikey, and she feels like she's being catfished. She says that Sarah thinks Mikey is fake, and she says, screw your judgment and F off. Whatever, girl, whatever. That's a shame. So we go to Mark and Sensory. I can't remember how they said her name. So Mark is at Jeremy's apartment, and they're looking for outfits through his clothes. Now, Jeremy is an ex-con, and Mark is using him to let him know what Sensorine is thinking. He knows, he has known Jeremy for about 2 years, and he said even before he was writing prison chicks, Jeremy was giving him advice on his experience in the prison. So he thinks he's the best person to give him advice. So Jeremy is asking Mark a series of questions like, how long have you been talking to her? He says a couple of months. He says this will be your first video call. And then he's saying, how many girls have you talked to that have been locked up? He says about 6. And Mark tells the cameras he makes about $600,000 a year. He feels like girls ask him to help when the girl asked him to help her out in prison, it's cheaper than taking her out on a date. Now, I'm sorry, we keep it positive, but Mark is very, very weird. He says he is dating incarcerated women because he has tried other dating sites and he hasn't had any luck. I can see why. He's totally weird. He says that he isn't flashy enough to attract the attention of an influencer model type. Why don't you try a regular person? That might work. Not one in jail. And he is basically asking Jeremy how to talk to Censorine. And Jeremy is schooling him on the prison mindset. Mark says he keeps spreadsheets of all the women he's talked to in prison. He has their conviction date, their location, and their release date. So Censorine is she's doing 11 months for shooting up her grandma's house, or 11 years, excuse me. She calls, and he says she looks better than expected. And it's tough there. He asks her if she has on makeup. They're making small talk. He's asking her what she wants for her future. And she says she wants to leave her past behind. Okay. She wants to leave her toxic family behind. He asks about a relationship, and she's saying she wants to go with the flow because she just wants to use your money. She just wants you to slide her that debit card number. So he says, I hope you have a good day and you're super hot. Then she calls on the phone, and he tells her she is the first girl who he has ever had a video call with when he was internet dating, like on Facebook. No one ever wanted to video chat. Jeremy has a notepad, and Censorine says she doesn't care about that. She just wants to see the person she is dating. He tells Jeremy, that's why I love this one. And Jeremy says, are you on mute? He says, no. Then he says, hold on, I might put you on mute. But Jeremy's saying no. He's so awkward. This dude has zero skills. Just go with it. But he's super weird. I know that we are keeping it positive, so I'm sorry. He tells the camera she has danger in her voice, and that's kind of a turn on. And he says she has a lot of time, but he's willing to wait to get to know her. Then Jeremy starts asking questions. What? He says, what are your thoughts about Mark? And she says, he's sexy. Crickets. Where is that coming from? Then she says his personality is amazing. You mean his checkbook? And because to me, he has none. And he's getting tips on how to talk to a prisoner from a prisoner. He has no game. And she says that there's like a lot of potential between them. And I'm like, yeah, for him to put money on your books. And Jeremy is telling Mark, you're crushing the call. The girl is super into him. Jeremy, quit blowing his head up. I'm like, Jeremy, tell the truth. But then he tells the cameras that people go to prison because they did something big. If they aren't willing to work on it, then it's not going to grow. The conversation is pointless. So I definitely agree with that. And Mark is just super weird. Just so sorry, cannot get into that. So next up we have Melissa and Louie. Melissa is taking us to their high school. She's showing us the staircase where Louie and his friends used to hang out and ignore her and her friends. And Melissa said, if Louie looked at you, you would be happy for the rest of the day. Shaking my head. Now she's taking us to Junior Drive, where all the juniors used to park and people would be making out. She says when Louie gets out, they're going there. And she's talking real crazy, trying to get inside the school, just talking crazy. But she then goes to Louie's house that he grew up in, and she calls him and she says, you know where I'm at? And he's like, no, where? And she's like, I'm at your old house or whatever where you grew up in high school, and where all the magic happened, but it was with other people, not me. And then he's like, well, call my mom. She calls his mom. She doesn't even know his mom. Hi, Donna. This is Melissa, Louie's new girlfriend, and I'm in front of your old house. And the mom's like, you in front of my old house? And she's like, yeah, Louie gave me your number. He told me to call. And the mom's like, but did he tell you about me? That I don't play. I'm an old Italian lady. And she was like, yeah, but I'm planning on coming down to Georgia. Wait, what? Georgia? He's in Georgia? And I want to meet you, and if that'll be okay. And her mom's like, yeah, his mom, excuse me, is like, yeah, but we can meet. But if it doesn't go good, then let me see what she said. Donna says, I hope it will, or otherwise you'll be on the blank list. And I'm like, ma'am, your son is in jail. You should be glad someone's trying to date him. But we have no preview for next week because of hip hop homicide. And if my partner in life is feeling better, we might do a recap on that together. But if I get one later on this week, I'll make a short video to let you know what's coming up on next week. But thank you guys for watching. Please make sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel.